one, and we're live. GM.
Good
What's
morning.
up, my
Happy Monday.
schizos?
GM.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Yeah,
Are we are we pre-rich?
We are. It's looking like it.
it's coming soon.
What is that in your background, Denton? I hear like
Air- Airplane or
yeah, it sounds like you got like
A
an
couple
airplane in the
days.
background.
Couple days.
um, yeah, I'm feeling pretty rich. I forgot that we were going to zero 2 days ago. It's really funny how sentiment shifts in the group chats. It's like
oh
literally
yeah.
3 days ago, everyone was like, everything looks so bad, dude. Coins look like dog shit. I'm gonna take some time off. I'm gonna go like I don't know, find a new hobby.
Actually, look at Bitcoin right now. It's
What's that?
retesting 31K just right now.
Yeah. 30,923 now 897. Yeah.
I think I saw this on CNBC this morning that the Dow is now it's now in the negative for the year, and Bitcoin's what up almost like 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It used to
people were
be
predicting bad things for today actually in stocks, but
no. I mean the Dow's down for a fourth straight day in a row, but it's because people are selling off the U.S. Treasuries right now. Like it's not looking good for the dollar. Um,
Not looking good, bruv. Max Payne is up. They hate to see it.
I yeah, like yeah, it's not looking good for funding a two-front war. It's not looking good for oil. It's Chevron announced like another $50 billion deal this morning. They bought a U.S. shale producer. Um, Exxon, I don't know. I think last week announced that they bought like a $60 billion deal on a U.S. shale producer. All the massive oil companies are positioning for U.S. shale. So what that makes me think is they are pretty much the insight and information that they have on hand is that the Middle East situation is not going to get better, and so to start to position for U.S. shale production, right? Because the U.S. technically, if we have all of the shale situations running, we produce um, more than Saudi Arabia.
Fun fact. Yeah. Fun
how
fact.
does
We have tons
Gaza
of
affect
untapped.
oil
Side,
there?
side note. But yeah, I mean that all is pretty bad for the dollar. Well, it's
Denton,
bad for
the same
inflation,
way,
bad for the
the same
dollar.
way Afghanistan had something to do with 9/11. That's how. Do you think this rally for ETH is just the bear whale getting hunted?
Oh yeah, dude. We like that narrative was definitely like discussed yesterday.
It's funny
But
to see people like
well, but
talking about it so much now, and the
it's
time
moving so much,
dilation
and like
because
the
we've been
vol though
talking
on
about
that
this
is
for like
moving
It's
we've
because
been
it's
really
talking about this guy for like 1-2 months. I feel like, and
oh
like
longer than
right
that.
now yeah, it's been I forgot when uh, a name I
Like
will not
June, dude.
disclose reached out to us about
Accounts, yeah.
some of those accounts, yeah, and when we first got put onto this guy, we'll call him this guy. Uh, but now you see all of CT talking about like the last like 2 weeks, week and a half,
It's
and
because Vance from Framework
yeah,
started talking about it,
yeah, I know.
and then Andrew yesterday was talking about it. But yeah, we've been talking about it on the Marty Spaces since like June.
Time dilation is real.
Um, yeah, I mean, I mean, good these big accounts get to finally see it this late in the game, but like it's been crazy because like BTC pumps and then the ETH BTC ratio goes to shit, and then last night we saw a complete inverse, right? So ETH starts pumping, BTC is not doing anything. It starts ETH BTC goes in the other direction. Then this morning it's complete opposite again. ETH BTC is moving a lot right now,
Yeah.
2% in either direction swings intraday.
Oh.
but it is still doing I mean ETH is doing bad compared to the last time BTC was above 30K. It's like $200 lower.
Yeah, because that ratio is moved, but like you can see how illiquid the
Yeah,
market is
yeah,
right now. That like that ratio can get pushed around, beaten up like pretty quickly.
I don't know
Imagine if
about
you
you
had
guys, but
options on the ratio.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on that.
Yeah, there's actually a tool I think that was deployed. It's just that you got to add implied volatility into the strike price calculation because it's like trading at like 0.05, 0.1, 0.15. So the gap between strike prices is way too large, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be like 0.45, 0.505, 0.055, 0.06. You know what I mean? It needs to be a much more smaller increment. So it's on the short list.
Mm-hmm.
We can do stable markets, so the USDC, USDT to USDC stuff.
We can. I was Premia can. Again, not financial advice. So this is your first time listening. We work for Premia, so if we talk about Premia, you know why. Yeah, Premia. I was playing around and I saw we could create some pretty interesting markets just from the tokens that are currently available.
You support 30 different tokens itself, and you can chain any of them together, right? So,
I was going to make I almost made stablecoin markets yesterday, and then I remembered
the ratio is going to be like 0.9, 1.1 on the strike price interval. So.
Yeah, and so that wouldn't be very good for me. Then I saw that we have the ability to make a DPX, USDCE, or a DAI market. So I thought about doing that, but then I paused myself. And I just played around with. I decided I'd go and I'd test out the claiming Premia options because, what market would I love to see more than our own up and live? And claim went well. So soon, TM, you've got some Premia option liquidity mining rewards that are available. You'll be able to claim those soon. Seem to work well unless I'm the culprit who broke this site. Right, let's talk about some SocialFi stuff. We've put a lot of focus on FriendTech in the past. There's a new one that's coming out called Cypher. Well, it's already been out. I apologize. It's been out on Arbitrum. Got a little attention at the beginning of launch from some of the Arbitrum people, and their token launch, I think, airdrop is today. So it's been getting a little talk and a little hype in smaller circles on CT. I gotta say, I'm not bullish for that kind of stuff. It's nothing against the people building them. SocialFi just is like, I don't philosophically align with the current form of SocialFi. So it's hard for me to. I'm all for you being in the arena, trying shit out, but it's hard for me to feel that using those products is more valuable use of my time than a plethora of other things.
Yeah, so
a group chat.
So I haven't done any SocialFi until Cypher. So I've still never signed up for FriendTech. I've never signed up for Stars Arena or any of that jazz. And then when Cypher came around, I did it because it's Arbitrum, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll do this one because it's Arbitrum. Yeah, like
so true to his core, so true to his beliefs. He will not use anything not on Arbitrum.
No, I did. I'm Arbitrum. Bull, dude.
DK the delicate.
And so I used it, and I'm down like 3 ETH on it, right? I bought like the founders, I bought the founder dev guys, I bought Bergies, I bought.
Did L make it? Did from Party Hat DAO? If he did, props.
I don't think he's not one of the devs.
Okay, good.
I had a bunch. I knew how to play the game at the beginning, and I was doing pretty well. And then, well, I'm no longer I'm down 3 ETH, right? My portfolio. Let me see what my portfolio value is. I mean, I guess I'm not down that much. I'm only down about 1 ETH right now.
How's FriendTech doing, Cozy?
Seems like people are getting a little bit exhausted. to be honest. For me, it's hard to stay consistent because I just like I have so much other shit that I do and that I'm doing that um, to divert my time to another social media app is just like super hard to make it a habit
It's a time
or
sink
like
for sure. It's a
yeah,
distraction.
yeah.
That's all it
And
is.
that's the biggest thing. It's a distraction and like in I don't know, my current like life I try to choose my distractions wisely. Um so yeah, I mean like I'm not going to dump any of my own keys. I'd let everyone exit if they were going to first, but um yeah, I'm just like for me it's just something hard to stay on top of. And that like the way I just said that is probably the biggest problem, right? It's something that I feel like I need to stay on top of and I shouldn't feel like I have to stay on top of something because you feel like an obligation to your key holders that you have to provide some kind of value and and it's like you don't want to have to like show up just because someone paid like for something for some service or some alpha, they paid for some reason. Maybe it's just because they like you, like I just bought keys of people that are
Yeah.
smaller accounts that like I like or I interact with, so it's just like supporting one of my favorite artists or supporting some like tiny person that didn't have anyone who had bought them and asked me on Twitter, so I was like, yeah, sure, why not. um, but I I only bought some like higher value accounts in the beginning, and I just after I did it, kind of got psyopsed into doing it. I was like, why am I doing this? I talk to these motherfuckers like in Telegram every day or in on Twitter, like in our own group chat. Why am I like paying money to talk to them or have access to them when I have their fucking like in real life phone number? I don't need to like pay
Nah,
for
I mean,
access to them.
the way I see it
But
is
I
more like
trust me, I get it. But
it's like
like
squad wealth type stuff, Like it's fun to
yeah,
buy your
yeah.
friends' keys. That's the only reason I did it because I'm like, okay, Stoic, Bergie, like I'm in here buying their keys. I'm like, I get it, I get it. I bought like dingalings at like 1 ETH. It's at 0.05 ETH right now, so I got burned on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got burned on some in the beginning. Not those, more speculating on like the bigger accounts from outside that I lost some money on, but I don't care. Like I only sent over money that I was willing to like burn to zero trying things in the arena.
Sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think either some new like novel feature comes out that like uh retains and gains like more attention to keep people up, or people just get tired and they go on to doing other things. Um,
Maybe
there are some people that have
the killer app is just not out yet.
no, but
Fintech might not be it.
the thing is like this is all just like from the experience that I have in the rooms that like I'm participating in or was participating in, or the people I know who are really active that I talk to kind of on a regular basis. Now that being said, I know other people that are still balls to the wall. Like they run incentives through their thing. They run like, they give alpha through like analyst notes of like their top, key holders, channels, or the top keys that they hold rooms to their holders. And they try to provide like a lot of value in a service. That like a paid group service, but I guess
Paid groups, yeah.
less on yeah, but it's like it's less on the chart trading
Yeah,
and it's
so I have a
more
question about that.
and it's more on like alpha like
I like it.
sharing
I like
and
it in
access.
comparison to normal paid groups, regardless of what they cover in their paid groups.
So what do you
I
think is the
agree.
actual benefit over having your own private paid group for the type of people that would do this?
The
But
main benefit is
people that find you
optics.
early, get the benefit on the upside of your the value that you create. Whereas a paid group, you get to extract everything.
Yeah. Yeah, paid group the the customer doesn't have an opportunity to make any money off of the success of your group outside of taking the risk of copying your trades or, performing the steps in the trading strategy that has been provided. But in a system like FriendTech, if they are popular and um, they are trading well, then more people, theoretically would want to buy their keys, push the value of it up, and any one of those people can then exit at a profit as well as whatever profit they made while in the group.
But the
So there,
downside of that is a paid group would always be like $20 a month, but this ends up being like $3,000 just to enter chat.
if you're late, if
Yeah,
you're if you're you know if you're not
but
early,
but it's only
Yeah.
like 100 keys to get to like a few ETH. It's the curve is bad, I think.
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree that there could be ways to improve. Obviously on the
I think smaller
creator
groups are
like
better
level,
than. I think
being
smaller
able to
groups like that.
optimize the curve. Go ahead, TK.
Yeah, I think smaller groups are better for that kind of stuff rather than like a super wide distribution. Um, I think providing a lot of value to a smaller number of users and then them having the ability to speculate on that value is a lot more healthy than scam paid groups that have wide distribution, right? And then you pay for them, and then you find that you just spent $3,000 a month on a paid group in which that you did realize $100 worth of value. Whereas with
Yeah.
with some of this, you can be like, who holds some people's keys, and so that you can be like, okay, well, these people, unless there's like collusion, these people obviously value this at this amount, so that they're probably gaining a benefit in more than that, or at least they're speculating that they're going to gain a benefit in more than that value. So I
Yeah,
like
there's a good
the
signaling
external
mechanism.
factor. Yeah, the external factor I think is nice rather than you do 1 month paid group, you don't get your value, you already lost $3,000.
I guess it also gives you, as like a pleb, it gives you a direct line of communication to a quote unquote celebrity, and he kind of has to respond to you.
I mean,
I
yeah,
have a
there's
slight
plenty of that.
rebuttal to it now. Nell
Yeah,
said, in a free to connect world, only crypto bro build a pay to connect world. And I would actually disagree that we live in a free to connect world.
I agree.
Everything that you connect to, it costs you money. Just to connect, you're paying money, right? Like you're paying a monthly service fee just to have access to connect. Unless are using public infrastructure at Starbucks, a library, or something like that. And then when you go from there, um, outside of just browsing, which we could say like your the analytics, all your metadata and stuff is being sold and shared, being tracked. So depending on how you value that, you're paying to connect every site that you view. If you want to watch anything, you're paying for that, whether it's through a streaming service or again like YouTube, looking at your preferences and then serving you advertisement. Um, so I don't see anywhere that we aren't paying right now. It's just that people don't interpret it as that they're paying. They don't value their own data, their own privacy, things like that, which is a whole like different conversation and issue. But I think that like kind of what you're getting more how you were thinking was like um, that like only in a world where like communication and like data sharing, is technically free. You can like look up anything. That like we choose to like create these ways to pay to get access to information, and I would argue that like most people don't value the information they have or their time, so they stretch themselves out and they exhaust themselves by trying to give everything away for free or give their time away for free. And there are very few industries that capitalize on the fact that your time is actually valuable and that time is money. And I talk about this a lot because I actually I envy them and I wish that more of the world worked this way because you would find that, with the people that you're communicating with on a daily basis, it's free to talk with them because you'd just be exchanging value back to one another. But for the people that are a drain on your time, it would be profitable for you to uh, spend time having to listen to them or deal with them or they just would not interact with you anymore, and they would save you your time because it would be costly for them. You know, it'd be a high, too high of a signal to noise ratio to them, and too much noise for you. And like the only industry that really capitalizes this is like lawyers, right? Like you pay a lawyer for their upfront fee, and then you're billed by the hour. You're charged for your time through them. We need more of that.
Dude, friend text for lawyers? Not
I mean,
legal advice?
I was
I think
talking
you're
about
onto
it a few
something.
episodes
I think you're
ago,
onto something.
but yeah, dude, I used to love this app called Dimely that an old friend of ours named Jack had created, where people could call you, but in order to call you, they had to deposit Bitcoin into a channel, and it was like a meter, you know, and it would like run off and withdraw the amounts as they went down on their time. So you could set how much your time is worth per minute, and people could call you and take up that time, but it was, you know, it metered them. So I don't know. I thought it was cool. I thought it was, you know, for especially when let's say you're in a position where you're getting pitch shit all day long, be a good way to filter out the bad pitches or the pitches that are well capitalized and really shitty products.
Okay.
So those are my thoughts, yeah, on front tech, SocialFi, and that kind of stuff. And Cypher, I won't be. You probably will not see me on Cypher. Not even claim my account.
Not yet.
No, I have too much shit to do. Even just our talk before this, just making sure that those things are in line. I don't have
Yeah.
time to be on fucking trying out new
Yeah.
SocialFi shit.
Yeah, I tried it for 2 nights. I probably spent 3 hours both nights, and I'm like, wow, this is a great waste of time. But I don't have 3 hours to grind. 3 hours. 3 hours to lose 6K. You know, I don't have that time.
Dude, I just saw earlier this morning something really crazy. This medical doctor pled guilty to paying a darknet killer in Bitcoin to murder his girlfriend. Transferred 8K worth of Bitcoin 3 times, once to the wrong address. And then the FBI found out, protected his girlfriend, and arrested this guy. I didn't know
don't do that.
like the dark
Don't
web
do that.
was. I bring this up because in my like suggested YouTube videos yesterday night, I always like will put on some YouTube stuff to fall asleep to, and just like get numb to it to fall asleep. And last night, one of the things I saw was like about the dark web, quote unquote, the dark web king. And I'm like, well, Ross Ulbricht's already in jail, and that's not a picture of Ross Ulbricht. So I wonder who they're talking about. And it was from like a month ago. So it had the dark web like in my head, like, oh, people are like still like actively buying things and like doing stuff there. I'm like so out of the loop because I haven't been doing anything on the dark web and like
But they're all
like, I don't know.
honeypots now.
Yeah, like just everything's run by feds. Like, why would you do anything on the
You
dark
know
web
that
anymore?
the onion sites have been essentially like a lot of the massive ones have been like consistently under DDoS. So like even the legit ones you couldn't get to, and so they had been like working for like I don't know 3 to 6 months on some sort of upgrade, and a lot of the darknet markets moved to like a peer-to-peer based system that is less Tor and more private peer-to-peer
Yeah.
site hosting, which it seems like that's the direction that a lot of the darknet is going to go. But then I think Tor introduced, I think it's called like Snowflake or Starburst or something like this, but it essentially is a more it's a little bit more private centric in terms of the Tor. If you own the exit relays, then you stitch everything back together. That it's kind of I think a mix between the two. So we'll see if Tor kind of comes back, because Tor is a little bit easier I think to use in the BitTorrent based privacy site hosting dark web stuff. But we'll see. Speaking of crime though, have you guys been following the Genesis stuff at all?
I read something like 2 days ago briefly. What was
It's
it
a lot worse
about
than what I
between
thought
Genesis
when I
and
just saw the
DCG?
headlines. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's actually way because when I saw the headlines,
Like it's dead, but go ahead.
yeah, when I saw the headlines last week, and I thought it was just like a normal Gemini versus Genesis, like the stuff that's been complaining about since Gemini Earn went down. But it actually is like a lot worse. A lot of it we kind of already knew, but we didn't know to what extent. But then you have like DCG, you have Genesis, you have like Grayscale, you have Genesis Lending, you got all this stuff. All these different legal entities that are supposed to have like arm's length reach away. But then when you started to see some like insolvency, that they weren't really arm's length away, and like some of the people in Genesis were writing writing the tweets for like the other companies like CEO and the other company accounts, and you could see that it was all kind of like one big blob, and they were writing loans that made no economical sense between one entity to the other, so that they could be and they're essentially making the books look a lot better than how they were by doing a lot of these off balance sheet transactions. And the last company they get the heat on for that was Enron, and in terms of like total amount of off balance sheet accounting to kind of cook the books a little bit, it's more than Enron. So from like a headline perspective, you could see a lot of the amount, like there's going to be a lot of piling in on this. I think as things start to come up, people start to read all the court case filings, that there's going to be a lot of headlines that like this is worse than Enron, this kind of stuff. Like
Well, I mean, the FTX one already was like an amount of like capital lost, and wasn't Luna as well? I'm pretty sure just like the Luna blow up was more money lost than Enron.
Well, Enron, it depends on how you look at it, though, right? Because like they were essentially cooking the shareholder value.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, they were doing the same with Luna, you could say.
Yeah, true.
It's still crazy to me how UST was integrated absolutely everywhere at that point.
Well, dude,
because
that was the PSYOP.
You had a TradeFi engine pushing it.
Yeah, yeah.
The PSYOP was making people.
TikTok.
The biggest PSYOP that ever happened in crypto was making people believe that Luna was like an actual L1 that you could build on, and not a Señorage Ponzi.
Yeah.
I have no idea how like the majority of like the crypto sphere was psyops into believing that like it's totally safe and fine to build on a stable coin experiment like that.
I had UST on leverage on Abracadabra.
Dude, the amount I got pitched in 2021, 3 different occasions, I got pitched a Venmo competitor or Cash App competitor that uses blockchain rails that invests customer funds into Luna Ponzi. 3 different people coming over from TradeFi being like, we're starting a fintech app. We're going to compete with Venmo and Cash App and Zelle and all this stuff. And the way that we're going to do it is we're going to take all the, we're going to have governance in it. We're going to take all this capital and throw it into Luna Ponzi. And they're like, and everyone is getting 17% returns.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but what happens when it's not 17% returns? And they're just like does not compute. And they're like, they can never answer that question to me. I'm like, well, what about when the yields go to 0, right? Well, what about when yields drop between under 17%? Like, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to give? What if people like want to withdraw at a certain amount? Like, how are you going to get that money back to them? You're taking customer funds and you're investing it for them. And so when people
a lot of friends
cash out of the crypto sphere, you're not going to have that cash on hand, and they just like they didn't get it.
So at that point, in like early 2021 or 2022, 2022.
This is 2021 is when I was getting pitched this.
Yeah, so 2022 is the collapse, right?
Right. So these guys were starting companies. So they had a Wall Street engine behind them, is what I'm saying. They had a Wall Street engine behind them that did not understand Señorage Ponzi's, right? We had already gone through algo stablecoin Ponzi's for the most part.
Yeah.
I know that you got burned a little bit.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why when when Luna was first out, like, I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I've already had fun with like the most degenerate versions of
Tomb.
this. Uh, Tomb, ESD, DSD,
Die.
uh, yeah,
Fucking
Xi, fucking. There's ones that were pegged to
Yeah.
gold, ones that were pegged
yeah.
to like, you
I know.
name it.
I made a
Like,
bunch of money, and then I sold puts on Luna, and fucking
Yeah.
lost all that money.
So even at
yeah,
that point, I knew that the yield's gonna run out, and I was just doing it for a few months. I just didn't expect it to collapse so violently, so fast. But I guess it was obvious in hindsight.
no, the thing was like, uh, I don't think to a lot of people it was obvious in hindsight because they did such a good job marketing it as NL1 that a lot of people didn't understand that it was just another like seigniorage Ponzi.
Yeah, no, I mean it should have
Um,
been to me, but there was like a TikTok at the time that was extremely popular. It was like a kid, like a Zoomer, explaining how to reverse mortgage your house and put it on US Terra. And I think
Dude,
I should have probably
oof.
got out at that point.
that's the sign. Yeah. When guys are remember the XRP guy that got a mortgage on his house to buy XRP. Yeah, whenever people
the
are
guy that
making
posts from his
TikTok
car,
videos,
the
what?
XRP guy.
There's one guy that did it, and then XRP went from like 50 cents to $3 or whatever, and he looked like a genius. Probably didn't sell, but it's a story as old as time.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends building on Luna, and it got burned pretty bad. So it sucks to see. You feel like I feel like a lot of times when you have this like public figurehead that has a lot of attention gravity and kind of sits in a good stature in like the social scene, it's easy to get lost in this mindset of like we're too big to fail.
Yeah, it was
Until
everywhere
they
though. I
do.
didn't have anything on the actual Luna chain. I had the USD on Abracadabra on mainnet, and it
Yep.
was on AVAX. It was everywhere.
Yeah, I mean we had Luna put markets on our exchange
Yeah,
on our
and
platform.
and Abracadabra, the vault, as soon as like there was room in it, it would fill up instantly. So I felt like I was in a privileged position. The
You were
FOMO
privileged.
is real.
You were privileged.
Hey,
You
it
were
made good money
privileged.
for like 3 months, and
You were
then it went
privileged
all
to
to zero.
assist in washing money.
Yeah, I do think that collapse was an event in which that a lot of money was laundered.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the easiest way to launder money is to throw it into a Ponzi like that, let the Ponzi collapse, and then be like, oh, I had all of my capital stuck up in Luna, and then people will be like, oh, well, that went to zero, so
Yeah.
you must have not got anything out
Was
of
it
it.
ever proven that Sam Bankman-Fried did anything about Luna? Like,
I
did
don't think
cause
he was part of it. I have other ideas on who the group was that did that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk on it.
No, I'm not going to talk on it. It's speculation.
Some things are better left unsaid.
Yeah, but I think it's
For the sake of your business.
I think
your
it was
people.
some of the market makers in the space, both in TradeFi and in crypto, that saw that they could, through a decent amount of capital, they could destabilize the entire thing, and they essentially just made the top do a little wobbling.
It's crazy because there were threads that basically explained how that could happen, like a few months before.
Yeah,
Nobody paid attention.
I know. I think Duquan also probably shat on them in public too.
It's not hard to assume he did. I have a good amount of videos in the old meme folder of Do Kwon speaking. Do Kwon, Danny, really
Sifu.
anyone. I have a funny video of Sifu too ripping a rig.
Oh really?
Yeah.
They're still around and they're fine, right? Danny and Sifu.
Yeah. I have a lot of good meme material of those guys from their peak. everyone was wondering where I got this video from. I don't even know where I got it. But it's like I think him and his like condo or something, like at his kitchen counters, like ripping a rig. But what do you expect? I mean, what do you think he'd be doing? What else is going on? Tell me about what's going on chain, Denton. What are some exciting things I should be looking at right now?
Not much to be honest. A couple shitcoins pumped that I was in. Nothing too exciting actually.
There was hay. We didn't talk about that over the last few days, but it did a fucking Undertaker where first Hayden. If you guys don't know what hay is, Hayden, the founder of Uniswap, had created a token not as a meme coin, but to like do testing with a long time ago, and he wrote in a thread that he had noticed that over time, like people were buying it here and there, uh, for like the vanity of it, and just recently, people started trading it as like an actual meme coin. It was created by the other co-founder of Uniswap. So Hayden burned all of his tokens, which was like
Taxable event.
9, yeah, 600 and what was it? Well, 65 billion or something.
I don't know, dude, but he could have done what Vitalik did and then write it all off as taxes the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I was
some
thinking
people
that.
mentioned about Hay, like they mentioned some other token that was deployed like early or something and had no liquidity, and then people aped it and added liquidity, and the token was called JCD, which is like JC Denton. So people asking if that was mine, but
No,
no,
that's
I
the other
didn't.
guy,
I didn't
the
buy
other
it.
founder.
It's the other
But
JCD.
but yeah, the funny thing is, then the other co-founder, he dumps after Hayden like burns his bullish, everything's like going up. He dumps his, it wicks to zero, and then it takes off like even harder than it had prior. I call that the Undertaker. When you
Yeah.
wick to zero, yeah, you wick to zero, and then you go, and then you Dalai Lama past where you were.
Yeah, the one I got that pumped like 10x was ETF,
I
and I
saw
bought
that
it
too.
like
I saw
early,
Colin talking
like
about that.
no, like late September. I just saw it on the Milady Discord, and it pumped 10x since then.
ETF, SPX,
Yeah, all that.
all the
Yeah,
finance tickers.
or whatever.
And it's literally just another reflection token.
Just another tax fee token.
Yeah.
What happened to Core? Do you remember Core?
Dude, they're still building shit.
I know they
I
are.
looked up
So I
not
mean,
like
just like what
6 months
happened?
ago.
That was
Oh,
one
no.
that like that really took off after it first went out, and I was kicking myself in the face so hard because they reached out to me asking if I wanted to like for feedback, like, hey, want to take a look at our UI, take a look over our docs, like give us some feedback on what you think. And I totally like blew it off at first. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm not. It's too late in the cycle to be doing like new Ponzi's like this. No. and and then like a week later, it launches and it just like goes nuts. I'm like, God damn it, fucked up.
Okay, I lied. Core is not building anymore, but all that liquidity is locked.
Yeah, they had. I
They
remember in
haven't
the
seen
peak,
it
they
since
had an
like January.
insane amount of liquidity at one point in time.
Dude, yeah, I think because it's locked forever.
What's the other one that was locked forever? Yam or something.
Yam,
No, but they had like
Yam
a
isn't like forever.
no,
Like a
but they
bug.
made
We
a
like
bunch of money.
we like the Yam guys.
It was a
They were
different one.
Yam is like if you made a quilt of protocols that like laid the foundation of DeFi, Yams would have its own patch.
Did you guys? You know the one that's it's like a little robot or something with one big eye is the like mascot and the token. You know what I'm talking about? I think it starts with an S.
What do you think it is?
I wanted to say it was like Sigma or Sigma OS or something like that, but I couldn't find that.
Mm, Is it new or old?
Oh, it's old. It's like from the Yam era. It's from the Tendies era, but
Mainnet?
mainnet.
Attendees.
But the token when they launched it was like one of the token, free token online creators, and you know how it says that in the actual smart contract.
Yeah.
And they still been building, and like it's just like this like teenage kid that just kept on learning crypto and learning how to code and all this stuff, and now they're like putting out stuff like legitimate projects. And like I saw that they had some of the conferences this year, they had like speaking arrangements, or there are people that are like, we're integrating their tech into our platform. And I'm like, I would have never expected this to happen.
Nice.
Because and
So
I think they're
just
token even.
total meme coin, some kid created just for fun, and people bought it, and he just decided like, I'm just gonna keep building things. I'm gonna keep trying things out in the arena.
I've suddenly
The
finally hit like 2-3 years later. Yeah.
the Tomb Fork kid was like 16. People still like him. Like the two.
Yeah, yeah. Anel said Yam still has some CRV locked forever. Damn, we
Yeah, I'm
should have
not
done
sure
that.
what I was
We should have
referring
done that thing, DK. We should have done that thing when the people asked about the thing.
Mm. Yeah, there's a bunch of like zombie projects that are like I haven't really seen them do anything in a while. Like, what's going on with them? Remember we met the Yam one of the Yam founders at one
Yep.
of our he came to one of our things in New York. He was a cool guy.
Yeah, I chat with his brother a bit more, but yeah, I've always liked them. What else we got going on? I feel like there's always something that pops off when we get off the stream. I'm like, oh shit, why didn't we talk about this? Uniswap, we can talk about the fees. Uniswap finished the week with just under 250K in fees
That's
on
pretty
front end
good, dude. It's
fee
more than I
revenue.
thought.
not
So
bad.
that's
They would have made something like, I don't know, 30 mil or something if they would have had it all year or something crazy.
just that right now it would be about 12 million a year,
Okay, maybe 12
which
million.
is still nuts. I mean, it's still like but one of my buddies tweeted, he said, in other words, that's 0.69% of its treasury value.
FTV
He's been
means.
going in. He's been going in on their fees lately, my friend Tom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm still trying to look for that one token I was telling you about with that eyeball.
You're still looking for it? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Guys, whatever happened to Faye, dude? They just closed up shop because of algorithmic stablecoins, right?
Well, they were Faye was put in a kind of weird position because, from what I heard,
Oh, the Rari thing too, right?
yeah, well, that was the biggest thing, right? Like, part of that agreement was that the Rari developers were gonna, come over and kind of merge with them as well. And after that happened, they like all left. Um, so from my understanding, it left. I think Joey it is founder from Faye, kind of in a like rough spot because now they had absorbed like another community, like so, technically another product, and everyone who was there building that product now, I think except like one guy who stayed with them, had left.
The Rari still
So yeah,
gets like 15 grand in volume a day because I still hold those tokens as like a memento.
I
But
can't
I
do
see
that.
I
I
see
go
it on
through
my
the
notifications that like some people still trade that thing. I don't.
I go through these phases where like just holding anything dead disgusts me, and I pull a Gen Spartan, and I'm selling things for like $100 and something of USDC.
I know
Like
that feel.
I don't care at all. Like, dude, it's giving me more dollars than it cost me in fees, and sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I will pay more just to get rid of like whatever is in my wallet, like for NFTs and stuff.
Spring
I will
cleaning.
accept, dude. I'll accept a $6 bid and pay $8 in gas, just to get it out of my wallet.
Dude, Yearn has a tool for this where you can
Oh
move all
man,
of your tokens in your wallet out of your wallet.
looking at
Yeah.
dead NFTs from 21 just makes me sick.
Good,
The problem is, you know what the problem with that is? That some of them have like those like they have like the approval or like signature fucking hacks because they're like NFTs in your wallet. So it's like, okay, you approve to move all these tokens in your wallet, and then like your wallet gets exploited from approving the contract for that token that's really a rug.
well, good point. I don't know how it works. I don't know if that saves you or not, but I would assume it moves everything into a new token where there's no approvals, and then you can move the tokens that have value into wherever. But I don't know how it actually works. I think it's mostly used for like multi-sigs to move all the assets from a multi-sig to another multi-sig because that's a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah, I would love it for once I'm done selling all the things I want to sell, like just sending everything else to Sinas .eth. I do that sometimes too. Like when I remember if there's like something that doesn't have bids and I just want to get rid of it, or I'm like, why is this in my wallet? I just send it to a ZNS. Sinas.eth is the NFT graveyard. There's like so much shit in that wallet because he's told so many people to just like, oh, you don't want that? Just send it here. Absolute graveyard. All right, boys.
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's time to close it up. There's not much going on. There's so much going on. I mean, there is a lot going on in the market, and we should probably be paying attention to the market and not rambling on.
Yeah, I got a lot of shit to do today. So it's been fun.
It's been
Nice
fun.
talking to you all after the weekend. We'll see you back tomorrow. E-boys, E-girls, thanks for joining us. Later.
I need in. Bye.
Bye bye.